It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Epictetus. What if I told you that 95% of men lose the attention and interest of women, not because they lack qualities, looks, or status, but because they miss one crucial mindset advantage? Imagine being the kind of man who naturally commands respect, intrigue, and deep attraction without trying too hard or playing endless games. That's the power of Stoicism, and it's what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary in the world of relationships. In this video, we're diving deep into why most men unknowingly push women away, and how adopting a Stoic mindset flips the script completely. You'll discover the hidden emotional triggers that cause disinterest, and learn how to embody a presence that women find irresistible. This isn't about manipulation. It's about mastering yourself so attraction flows naturally. Stick around till the very end, because the insights here will change how you approach relationships forever. If you're ready to become a man who stands out, not by chance but by choice, this video is your blueprint. Let's unlock the Stoic advantage that 95% of men overlook. Number 1. Lack of emotional control. When it comes to why women lose interest in so many men, one of the biggest silent killers of attraction is a lack of emotional control. It's something that flies under the radar because emotions are natural, right? Everyone has them. But here's the truth. How you manage those emotions, the way you respond rather than react, is what separates the few who keep that magnetic pull from the crowd who lose it fast. You've got to understand, emotional control isn't about suppressing how you feel or pretending you're a stone. It's about mastery, about holding your ground even when the storm inside threatens to shake you. Said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. This strength is what women instinctively sense and gravitate toward. When your feelings run wild, spilling over in frustration, jealousy, or neediness, it signals instability. And no matter how attractive you may be otherwise, that emotional chaos is a deal breaker. Imagine you're on a boat in choppy waters. If the captain is tossing and turning with every wave, how safe do you feel? The same goes for your emotional state. If you're swept away by every little trigger, how can anyone trust you to be a rock in their life? It's not just about big dramatic moments either. Emotional control is revealed in the little things: how you handle a disagreement, your patience when plans go awry, or the calm you keep when someone tests your limits. The men who lose interest quickly show up as unpredictable, intense, or overly reactive. Women don't want to feel like they're walking on eggshells or constantly managing your moods. Instead, they want a partner who owns himself, who is steady and reliable, no matter what the external chaos looks like. You can start reclaiming this emotional power today. First, begin by noticing your triggers, those moments when you feel your control slipping. Instead of reacting immediately, take a breath, a pause, and choose your response intentionally. Practice this daily and it becomes a habit, a muscle that grows stronger over time. Epictetus taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This mindset is your gateway to emotional freedom. When you realize your feelings are not dictators, but messengers, you stop giving them the wheel. Another practical exercise is to regularly check in with yourself. Ask, is this feeling true? Is it worth my energy? Sometimes emotions exaggerate reality, and recognizing that gives you the power to detach and decide wisely. It's a subtle shift but profound in impact. Mastering emotional control also means developing a calm presence, an aura of tranquility that others feel when they're around you. This calmness doesn't come from avoiding emotions, but from engaging with them without being consumed. It's the quiet confidence that speaks louder than words, that reassures without needing to explain. Women pick up on this immediately. They don't want to babysit emotions. They want a partner who handles his inner world with care and strength. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, remember that this moment is your training ground. Each time you choose control over chaos, you build a foundation of trust and attraction that no flashy gesture can match. You're not just managing feelings, you're embodying the Stoic ideal, a man who is free inside, unshaken by the storms around him. This is the advantage few men have but every woman desires. Start today, not tomorrow. Strengthen your emotional control and watch how the dynamic shifts, not only in how women see you but in how you see yourself. You become someone who commands respect, admiration, and deep connection. And that is the true power of Stoicism in action. Number 2, insecurity and neediness. Insecurity and neediness. They're like invisible chains that quietly but relentlessly hold you back from becoming the kind of man who naturally draws women in. When you feel unsure about yourself, when you crave constant validation or fear being alone, it shows. And believe me, women pick up on this energy faster than you think. It's not about grand gestures or flashy moves. It's about the subtle signals you send out when your foundation isn't solid. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means your inner state, the calm, composed presence you cultivate, is what truly makes a difference. If you find yourself caught in the trap of insecurity, it's time to pause and reflect on where that feeling comes from. You have to start by understanding that your worth isn't tied to external approval or fleeting moments of attention. Your value comes from within, from your ability to stand firm no matter what life throws your way. You might not realize it, but neediness can creep in when you expect someone else to fill gaps inside you. That's a heavy burden to place on another person, and it inevitably pushes them away. The Stoics remind us to focus on what we control, our thoughts, our actions, our mindset, not on what lies outside our reach. So ask yourself, how often do you look to others for reassurance instead of trusting yourself? How much energy do you waste worrying about whether you're enough? This self-doubt doesn't just affect your relationships, it weighs down your entire life. But here's the good news, you can change this. It starts with small steps, daily practices that build resilience and self-trust. Begin by acknowledging your fears without judgment. When you feel that gnawing anxiety or that urge to seek approval, don't run from it. Instead, face it head-on. Remind yourself of a wisdom. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Try simple exercises to ground yourself. When insecurity strikes, take a moment to breathe deeply and center your attention. Write down your strengths and achievements, no matter how small, and revisit them often. Develop a habit of gratitude for who you are right now, not who you wish to be. These actions create a powerful ripple effect. Over time, they transform your inner dialogue from critical to supportive. You become less reactive, more confident, and that shift is magnetic. Women notice when a man carries himself with quiet assurance, when he isn't desperate to be liked, but is comfortable in his own skin. That's the essence of masculine energy that the Stoics champion, unshakable, grounded, and self-reliant. Remember, breaking free from insecurity and neediness isn't about perfection, it's about progress. You'll stumble, feel vulnerable, and face doubts. That's part of the journey. What matters is that you keep moving forward, practicing patience with yourself. With every step, you reclaim your power, creating space for genuine connections to flourish. You're not just changing how women see you, you're transforming how you see yourself. This is the true Stoic advantage, the path to becoming a man who doesn't just attract but inspires. So start today. Own your worth, trust your mind, and watch how everything shifts when you stop chasing and start being. Number 3, poor communication skills. Poor communication skills. This is one of those silent killers in relationships that you might not even realize you're guilty of. It's more than just talking or listening. It's about connecting, being present, and creating a space where honesty and understanding flow naturally. Imagine this. If you can't clearly express who you are, what you want, and how you feel, how can someone else truly see you? Women, like anyone else, crave connection, and communication is the bridge. When that bridge is shaky, or worse, collapsing, interest fades faster than you might expect. You might think you're saying enough, but the truth is, it's not just quantity, it's the quality of what you share. Stoicism teaches us about the power of clarity and intention, reminded us that if someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change. That means communication is not about dominating the conversation, but about openness. You need to listen deeply, not just waiting for your turn to speak, but absorbing what's truly being said. Women pick up on this subtle difference. They sense when you're truly engaged and when you're merely going through the motions. Communication also isn't about avoiding discomfort. Real connection often requires courage, the courage to be vulnerable and authentic. The Stoics taught us to embrace challenges, including emotional ones, with equanimity. If you shy away from expressing your true feelings or fail to ask meaningful questions, you're leaving gaps in your connection. These gaps become spaces where doubt and disinterest quietly settle. So, how do you change this? Start by practicing presence. When you talk, be fully there. When you listen, silence the inner chatter that distracts you. This simple habit can transform shallow exchanges into meaningful conversations. Another key is to cultivate emotional intelligence. This means understanding not just your own emotions, but also recognizing the feelings behind her words and actions. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you can respond with empathy rather than defensiveness or indifference, you build trust and safety. This trust is magnetic. Women are drawn to men who can hold space for their emotions without judgment or dismissal. It's about balance, not losing your own composure, but also not shutting down or withdrawing. Now here's a practical exercise to help you sharpen your communication muscles. After every conversation, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, did I truly listen? Did I speak honestly and clearly? Did I leave space for her to share without interruption? Make it a daily habit to journal these reflections. Over time, this self-awareness will elevate your conversations beyond the ordinary. Remember, communication is not a skill you either have or don't have. It's a muscle you can train. Like any Stoic discipline, it requires consistent effort and a mindset geared toward growth. It's about becoming the man who can navigate conversations with calmness and clarity, who speaks not to impress, but to connect. So you want to avoid becoming part of that 95%. Then it's time to take communication seriously. Step into the role of a man who doesn't just speak, but who truly communicates. Who doesn't just hear, but listens with intention. As Seneca said, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Applying that to communication means being fully engaged in the moment with her, creating a connection that feels alive, real, and impossible to walk away from. You've got this. Start today. Number 4, lack of purpose or ambition. You know, when it comes to attraction, there's something incredibly magnetic about a man who has a clear purpose, a burning ambition that drives him forward every single day. Women pick up on this energy, even if it's not spoken out loud. Lack of purpose or ambition. That's like a dim light in a room that should be shining bright. If you find yourself drifting without direction, without a clear reason to get out of bed, you might be unknowingly turning off the very kind of energy that sparks deep interest. It's not about having some grandiose plan or becoming a world changer overnight. It's about cultivating a reason to grow, a mission that pulls you through challenges and pushes you to be better than yesterday. Said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Think about that. Your obstacles, your doubts, are not stops on your path. They are the path. When you wake up and choose to face your challenges with the intention to move closer to something meaningful, you start to embody a form of strength that's irresistible. Purpose isn't just a lofty ideal, it's practical. It's waking up with the question, what can I improve today? How can I contribute? This daily commitment to growth builds an inner fire. That fire, in turn, radiates outward, and others, especially women, feel it deeply. If you want to shift from feeling aimless to being someone who naturally draws interest, start with small but consistent habits. Pick one area of your life where you want to grow, could be your health, learning a skill, or even emotional resilience, and dedicate time each day to it. The key is persistence. Stoicism teaches us that it's not about perfection but about progress. Seneca reminds us, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Don't waste your days waiting for motivation to strike. Build a routine that honors your purpose, no matter how small the step seems. When you build purpose, you gain a sense of identity. You're no longer a passenger in your own life but the captain steering the ship. This shifts how you carry yourself, how you interact with others, and how you face setbacks. You'll notice a newfound confidence, not the loud, boastful kind, but a calm, steady assurance that you know where you're going and are willing to work for it. This is magnetic because it speaks of reliability and depth, qualities that go far beyond surface-level attraction. Ask yourself right now, what am I working toward? What drives me beyond daily distractions? Don't rush to answer, sit with it. Write it down if you can. Then break that purpose into daily actions. When you do this, you're not just appealing to others, you're becoming someone worth knowing. You're creating a life that naturally draws people in because it's alive with meaning. Remember, Stoicism is about control over your own mind and actions. You may not control everything around you, but you absolutely control the effort you put into your purpose. Every time you choose growth, every time you move closer to your goals, you step into your masculine energy with more clarity and strength. That's the kind of man who doesn't just attract fleeting attention but lasting interest. So start now. Define your purpose no matter how humble it may seem. Own it, live it, and watch how everything else aligns. Your ambition, fueled by consistent action and grounded in Stoic wisdom, will transform how women and the world see you. Number 5. Inconsistent behavior and values. When it comes to attraction, one of the biggest reasons women lose interest in men is inconsistency, especially in behavior and values. Think about it. Nothing shakes trust and respect more than a person whose actions don't line up with their words, or whose principles seem to change with the wind. You can't build anything strong on a shaky foundation. If you want to hold someone's attention, and more importantly, their respect, you must show up as someone steady, someone reliable, someone who lives by a clear set of values. Imagine this. A man who says one thing but acts another, who seems full of promises one day and distant the next. This kind of unpredictability creates confusion and doubt. Women, like all humans, seek security in relationships, not just financial or physical security, but emotional and psychological safety. When your behavior is inconsistent, it's like sending mixed signals. One moment you're present and engaged, the next you withdraw or contradict yourself. This inconsistency disrupts the natural rhythm of connection. It erodes trust because trust thrives on predictability and integrity. The Stoics understood this deeply, said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." It's a powerful reminder that your character is not a topic for debate or whim. It's something you embody every day in every interaction. If you find yourself wavering, unsure of your values or how you express them, it's time to reflect and realign. Start by identifying what truly matters to you. What principles are non-negotiable? What kind of man do you want to be, not just for others but for yourself? Once you've clarified your values, it's crucial to practice consistency in small, everyday actions. Show up on time. Follow through on commitments. Speak honestly but thoughtfully. Your consistency builds a quiet confidence that others can sense. This is magnetic. Consistency doesn't mean rigidity. It means being dependable, steady, and genuine. It means your yes is yes, and your no is no. This clarity offers a safe harbor for connection. Of course, life throws challenges at you. Sometimes emotions get the better of you or circumstances push you to act out of alignment. But here, where Stoic practice shines, Epictetus taught that it's not events themselves that disturb us but our judgments about them. You have the power to choose your response. When you catch yourself slipping into inconsistency, pause, breathe. Remind yourself of your core values. Recommit to showing up as the man you aspire to be. One practical exercise is to journal daily or weekly about your actions and decisions. Ask yourself, did I act in line with my values today? Where did I waver? How can I improve tomorrow? This habit of self-examination is not about harsh judgment but honest growth. It builds awareness, which is the foundation for consistent behavior. Remember, women aren't looking for perfection. They're drawn to authenticity and reliability. Inconsistent behavior breeds uncertainty and insecurity. Consistency, fueled by clear values and self-mastery, creates trust and attraction. You become a rock in the shifting sands of life, a presence others can count on. So take this seriously. Reflect on your values. Commit to embodying them consistently, day by day. As Seneca advised, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Don't waste your chance to become the kind of man whose presence commands respect and inspires desire. Your steady, consistent self is your greatest advantage. Thanks for watching. Remember, the reason most men lose her interest isn't because of who they are, but because they lack the calm, confident energy that true Stoicism teaches. If you want to stand out from the 95% and embody that unshakable masculine presence, start practicing these principles today. If you found value in this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with the men in your life who need this truth. Drop a comment below. What's one Stoic habit you're going to adopt to keep her interest alive? Stay strong, stay steady, and keep mastering the Stoic advantage. Until next time. He who engages you conquers you, Epictetus. What if I told you that the moment you stop chasing, stop constantly reaching out, and simply detach with calm confidence, you ignite a silent panic in her mind? It's not magic, it's pure psychology rooted in timeless Stoic wisdom. In today's world of endless messages, calls, and social media pings, we've lost sight of a powerful truth. Absence creates value. When you pull back, when you stop seeking validation, you reclaim your power, and suddenly she's the one left wondering, why did he stop? That subtle shift triggers something primal, something deeply unsettling. But this isn't about mind games or manipulation. It's about mastering yourself, holding your ground, and using Stoic principles to create irresistible psychological impact. Stick with me till the very end of this video, because I'm about to reveal the exact strategy that not only makes women pause, but also leaves a lasting impression, a mark that lingers in her thoughts long after you've stopped reaching out. This isn't just advice, it's a Stoic strategy that truly works. Ready to learn why silence speaks louder than words? Let's dive in. Number 1, understanding the psychology behind her panic when communication stops. When you suddenly stop reaching out and she starts to panic, it's not just about the silence itself. It's about what that silence represents deep beneath the surface. You need to understand the psychology behind this reaction to truly grasp why her mind begins to race and her emotions surge. It's natural for humans, especially in emotional connections, to seek consistency and reassurance. When communication stops abruptly, it triggers a powerful internal alarm. She's left with a void, a space once filled by your words and presence now empty. And that emptiness, it breeds uncertainty, doubt, and fear. The Stoics remind us that it's not the things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. She's making her own judgments in that silence, filling it with worst-case scenario, fears of rejection, or feelings of being unvalued. This isn't just about you disappearing. It's about her mind's instinct to protect itself from perceived loss or abandonment. Now, here where your understanding becomes your greatest strength. You don't just stop reaching out to punish or confuse her. You do it because you're cultivating self-control and emotional independence, two pillars of Stoic philosophy. Teaches us to keep our inner citadel unshaken by external chaos. When you pull back, you're creating space for both of you to reflect, to reset, and to reclaim emotional balance. But she's reacting to this withdrawal because emotionally, she's wired to seek connection and security. Her panic isn't irrational, it's a survival mechanism. This is where empathy plays a key role. Recognizing her panic as a natural response, not a personal attack, allows you to remain calm and grounded. You don't need to rush to fix the situation or flood her with messages. Instead, hold your ground with quiet confidence. Here's a practical shift for you. When you stop reaching out, embrace the silence fully but observe her reactions without judgment. Notice how she responds internally and externally. Use this moment as a mirror for your own emotional discipline. Ask yourself, am I reacting to her panic with fear or anxiety? Or am I holding steady, grounded in my values and self-respect? The Stoic mindset is about mastering your own responses rather than trying to control others. By doing this, you teach her, without words, that your presence isn't dependent on constant communication, but on mutual respect and understanding. This teaches her value and scarcity, not through games, but through genuine self-possession. If you want to adopt this strategy effectively, start by practicing small stretches of silence in your daily interactions. Don't bombard her with texts or calls out of habit or fear of losing her. Instead, let your absence speak volumes about your confidence. Said, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this, you have the power to revoke at any moment. Apply this to her panic. It's not your responsibility to soothe it instantly. It's your responsibility to remain steady and measured. When you break the silence, do it with intention and calm, not desperation. Let your communication be a gift, not a given. The truth is, her panic is often a sign that you hold space in her life she's not ready to fill on her own. And that's a powerful position to be in. Not because you're manipulating emotions, but because you've cultivated your own value and self-control. This mindset will change the dynamic, not just with her, but with everyone you interact with. You become a man who leads with quiet strength, who understands that true connection isn't constant chatter, but mutual respect and emotional balance. So embrace this Stoic strategy wholeheartedly. Observe, reflect, and maintain your calm. Remember, it's your reactions that shape the narrative, not her panic. Your silence can be the strongest message you send, one of confidence, self-mastery, and unwavering presence. Keep practicing and watch how this shift transforms not just your relationships, but your entire approach to life. Number 2, how Stoic detachment helps maintain emotional balance. When you stop reaching out, it's natural for some people, especially women in this context, to feel a flicker of panic or confusion. But here's the secret weapon you can wield: Stoic detachment. This isn't about being cold or distant. It's about mastering your emotional landscape so you stay balanced, no matter what's happening around you. The Stoics remind us that emotional equilibrium comes not from controlling others, but from controlling how we respond to what life throws at us. Epictetus said it best. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Imagine applying that to your relationships. When you stop reaching out, you're not running away or playing games. You're practicing emotional self-control, grounded in the understanding that your worth doesn't depend on constant validation from anyone else. This kind of detachment helps you maintain your peace. It creates a space where you don't spiral into anxiety wondering why she hasn't called back or what she's thinking. Instead, you recognize that her reaction is her business, not yours. You're free to focus on your own growth, your own path. This mindset keeps you steady, so you don't get caught up in emotional highs and lows. It's like being the calm eye in the storm. When you aren't reacting impulsively to every perceived slight or delay, you send a powerful message. You value yourself enough not to be needy, and you're comfortable standing firm in your own presence. You might think, that sounds great, but how do I actually practice this? Start small. Next time you feel the urge to reach out just for reassurance, pause, take a breath. Reflect on what taught us about distinguishing what is within our control and what is not. You can control your actions and your mindset, but you can't control her feelings or responses. Practice shifting your focus from trying to manage her emotions to mastering your own. Journal your thoughts if it helps. Write down what you feel, and then write down what you can realistically control in that situation. This act of separating your emotions from external events is a powerful exercise in detachment. Another practical habit: develop a daily routine of self-care that doesn't depend on anyone else's involvement. This could be exercise, meditation, reading Stoic texts, or any activity that grounds you in your own value. When your emotional state relies on your own actions and intentions, the panic that might otherwise arise when you pull back simply doesn't get the chance to take hold. You become the anchor in your relationships, not the buoy tossed by every wave. Don't mistake detachment for indifference. The Stoics weren't unfeeling. They were deeply engaged but not enslaved by their emotions. They knew love, friendship, and connection are vital parts of a good life, but they also knew that when you cling too tightly, you risk losing your balance, and in that loss, you lose the respect and admiration of others. Detachment is about holding your emotions with an open hand, not a clenched fist. So when you stop reaching out, do it with intention. Let it be a statement of self-respect and inner strength. Trust that by not chasing, you're creating space for genuine connection based on mutual respect and freedom. And remember the words of Seneca: if a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. Know your purpose, know your value, and steer your ship with calm certainty. By practicing this Stoic detachment, you don't just maintain emotional balance, you cultivate a magnetic presence that naturally draws people in. The panic she feels when you stop reaching out, that's the effect of your newfound power. Use it wisely, use it with grace, and watch how your relationships transform when you lead with balance, not neediness. Number 3, the power of consistent but non-needy presence. You've probably noticed that when you suddenly stop reaching out, there's this subtle but powerful shift. It's almost like the silence itself starts to speak louder than any words ever could. Women often panic not because they're playing games, but because that steady, reliable presence you once had suddenly feels like it's slipping away. The power here isn't in chasing or flooding someone with messages. It's in showing up consistently but without clinging. That balance, that steady rhythm, creates a magnetic energy. It whispers, "I'm here, I'm stable, I'm confident, but I don't need you to prove it." This is the kind of presence that draws people in naturally, without desperation, without pressure. Stoicism teaches us about the value of inner stability, reminds us to be like the rock in the ocean, unmoved by the crashing waves around it. When you cultivate a presence that's steady and consistent, without leaning on neediness, you become that rock. You're not sending messages every hour just to hear a response. You're not chasing after approval or attention. Instead, you're living your own life fully, maintaining your dignity and reaching out only with purpose and calm intention. That's a game changer. It's not about withdrawal to manipulate. It's about self-respect and emotional control. When you stop reaching out excessively, you're not playing hard to get. You're showing that your value doesn't depend on constant validation. Now here, where many guys trip up, they confuse being present with being available 24/7. They flood her inbox with texts, calls, or messages because they're afraid of losing her. But what actually happens is the opposite. That flood creates noise, and noise can drown out true connection. When you master the art of being consistently present, but not overbearing, you give space for attraction to breathe. You allow the relationship to grow organically. You become a steady, reassuring force, not a whirlwind of chaos or anxiety. This subtle, calm consistency becomes your silent power. Think of it like a dance. You lead, but you don't push. You step forward, but you don't overstep. That's the rhythm women feel intuitively. They sense when a man respects himself enough not to beg for attention, but still cares enough to show up in meaningful ways. This doesn't mean you ignore her or vanish into thin air. It means you create a pattern of presence that says, "I'm here, balanced and grounded, no matter what." The Stoic man isn't tossed around by whims or fears of rejection. He keeps his center, and that grounded energy, it's magnetic. Now, I want you to try this practical exercise. For 1 week, commit to reaching out only when you genuinely want to connect, not because you feel anxious or want to fill silence. Observe how your mindset shifts. Notice how she responds when you show up with calm intention instead of neediness. Watch how your own confidence grows when you stop relying on constant contact to feel secure. This simple habit rewires your emotional system, moving you from desperation to dignity. Epictetus said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." In this context, you can't control her reactions or feelings, but you absolutely control your presence. Choose to be the steady, consistent force she can rely on, not the frantic signal she's chasing. That choice puts you in the driver's seat of your emotions and the relationship itself. So take this to heart. Don't be the man who floods her world with messages and then feels empty when she doesn't reply immediately. Instead, be the man who shows up calmly, confidently, and with purpose. That steady presence is more powerful than any flood of words. When you master this, you won't just avoid her panic. You'll create a connection rooted in respect, trust, and genuine attraction. Number 4, why withdrawing attention triggers deeper connection. You ever notice how the moment you pull back a little, stop reaching out constantly, things suddenly shift? It's almost like by withdrawing your attention, you trigger something deeper inside her, something that makes her feel a stronger pull toward you. This might seem counterintuitive because we often believe that constant contact equals closeness, but in reality, it's the space you create that invites curiosity, longing, and genuine connection. From a Stoic perspective, this aligns perfectly with the idea that we should focus on what we can control, our own actions, and allow external things like her reactions to flow naturally. When you stop chasing, you're not playing games, you're practicing self-respect and emotional discipline. This creates a magnetic energy, a kind of calm strength that's incredibly attractive. Think about it. When you always initiate, always respond instantly, you might unknowingly send the message that your attention is abundant, easily given away. That availability, as much as it feels good to offer, often lowers perceived value. But when you step back, you're essentially telling yourself, and her, that your attention is precious. You're cultivating your own space and letting your life fill with purpose beyond just waiting for her message or call. This shift sparks something profound. It forces her to pause, to reflect, maybe even to wonder what you're doing or thinking. That silence, that absence, carries weight. It becomes a quiet invitation for her to step up, to reach deeper, to connect not because she's filling a void, but because she truly wants to. This doesn't mean you play hard to get or manipulate emotions. That's not Stoic wisdom. The Stoics would remind you, as Epictetus did, that control is within your domain, your virtues, your reactions, not in trying to control others. So withdrawing attention isn't about creating tension or drama. It's about practicing restraint and embodying confidence. When you stop the constant pursuit, you demonstrate emotional autonomy. You show that your happiness and worth aren't dependent on her immediate response. And paradoxically, that's exactly what makes her more interested. It's a signal that you're grounded, not desperate, and that's irresistibly attractive. Now here, where the deeper connection grows. When you're not always there, the interactions you do have become more meaningful. Instead of routine exchanges, every message, every call carries intention and value. The quality of your presence skyrockets because it's not diluted by excess. You engage from a place of calm assurance rather than neediness, and that changes everything. Women, like anyone, are drawn to people who bring balance and strength. By withdrawing attention wisely, you create a natural ebb and flow, a rhythm that encourages her to invest emotionally. It's like a dance where both partners feel seen and respected, not overwhelmed or suffocated. To put this into practice, try a simple exercise. Next time you feel the urge to reach out impulsively, pause, take a breath, and remind yourself of words. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Channel that strength. Choose to focus on your own growth, your goals, your daily routines. Let your interactions be deliberate, not reactionary. Notice how this shift affects her behavior, but more importantly, how it affects your own sense of peace and confidence. This is emotional self-mastery in action. As you build this habit, you'll notice that withdrawing attention isn't a withdrawal from connection. It's a deeper form of respect for yourself and the relationship. It allows space for genuine interest to blossom naturally, without force or fear. You're no longer chasing shadows but inviting real presence. That's the Stoic strategy that works, the kind that transforms attraction into something lasting. So take control of your actions, embrace the power of purposeful absence, and watch how the connection you desire unfolds, stronger, deeper, and more authentic than ever before. Number 5, practical Stoic techniques to manage your responses and keep her intrigued. When you stop reaching out, you might notice a shift, sometimes a subtle ripple, other times a full-blown wave of panic. That's human nature at work. But here's the thing, how you respond in that moment is everything. It's your chance to show strength, clarity, and control, qualities that the Stoics prized above all else. Managing your responses so she stays intrigued isn't about playing games or manipulation. It's about mastering yourself first. Said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That power is your secret weapon. It's what keeps you steady while others get caught up in emotional chaos. So how do you actually do this? Start by training your mind to accept that you cannot control her reactions, only your own. When she panics, when she texts more or less, or when she pulls away, these are external events beyond your direct influence. Your focus is on how you engage with these moments. Practice deep breathing or brief meditation when you feel the urge to immediately respond. This pause creates space where you can choose your response thoughtfully, rather than react impulsively. A calm, deliberate approach is magnetic. It signals confidence, emotional maturity, and that you are grounded in yourself. Another practical technique is to cultivate a mindset of indifferent curiosity. Instead of obsessing over why she's acting a certain way, observe it without judgment. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me about myself? How can I remain steady and true to my values here? This shifts your energy from anxiety to empowerment. It aligns with Epictetus's teaching that events themselves are neutral. It's your interpretation that colors them. When you stop overinterpreting her panic as a threat to your worth or your future, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. Next, adopt the Stoic habit of journaling. After moments when you felt the urge to chase or pull back too hard, write down your thoughts and feelings. Be brutally honest with yourself. What triggered your reaction? How did you handle it? What could you do differently next time? This practice isn't just self-reflection. It's a way to reprogram your emotional responses over time. You become more aware, more resilient, and more deliberate. Over days and weeks, you'll notice a new calmness emerging, one that naturally intrigues her because you're no longer a puppet to your emotions. Here's a simple exercise to implement right now. When you feel the instinct to reach out, wait. Give yourself at least 1 hour before responding. Use that time to breathe, journal, or engage in a purposeful activity, reading, working out, or a hobby you love. This creates a healthy boundary and reminds you that your value isn't tied to constant communication. Remember Seneca's wisdom: no man is free who is not master of himself. Mastery over your impulses isn't just attractive, it's liberating. Lastly, embrace the power of silence as a form of communication. Silence isn't emptiness, it's space filled with confidence. When you don't chase, you create a vacuum that naturally draws attention. This isn't about playing cold or distant. It's about demonstrating that you have a full life, rich and complete without needing constant validation. That kind of energy sparks curiosity and respect. She starts to wonder what you're up to, why you're not glued to your phone, and that intrigue can be far more powerful than words. So take control. Manage your reactions with wisdom and patience. Use practical Stoic tools like mindful breathing, journaling, and deliberate pauses. Stop reacting like a storm and start responding like a calm sea, steady, deep, and quietly magnetic. This approach isn't just a strategy. It's a way to live with integrity, strength, and true presence. And in doing so, you won't just keep her intrigued, you'll attract the right kind of connection, one built on respect and genuine admiration. Remember, true strength in any relationship isn't about chasing or clinging. It's about steady calm and confident presence. When you stop reaching out, you're not playing games. You're practicing the timeless Stoic wisdom of self-control and inner peace. So next time you feel the urge to panic or overreach, take a step back and breathe. Let her notice the space you create. That's where respect, intrigue, and genuine connection grow. If you found this strategy powerful, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. And drop your thoughts below. Have you ever noticed how silence can speak louder than words? Stay calm, stay grounded, and remember, your peace is your power. See you in the next video. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. What if I told you that when a woman seems indifferent, pretending not to care, it's actually a sign she deeply cares, but is guarding her heart? This isn't about games or manipulation. It's a natural defense rooted in vulnerability and survival. It's a silent language many men miss, causing confusion and frustration. But what if understanding this could completely change how you connect with the women in your life? In this video, we're diving into the fascinating psychology behind why women often mask their true feelings and how the Stoic mindset can help you see beyond the surface. You'll discover the strength in stillness, the power in patience, and how mastering your emotions opens doors to authentic connection. So stick with me till the very end, because the insights you're about to gain aren't just for understanding others. They're for transforming your own emotional resilience and relationships. Ready to decode what really lies beneath that "I don't care" attitude? Let's uncover this mystery together. Number 1, emotional self-protection and vulnerability. You've probably noticed that sometimes women seem like they don't care, brushing things off, acting distant, or shutting down emotions, even when it's clear they actually do. It's confusing, right? But here's the thing. This behavior often comes down to one powerful truth: emotional self-protection. When someone pretends not to care, they're often shielding themselves from feeling too vulnerable, from being exposed to pain or disappointment. It's a way to build an invisible fortress around their heart, a fortress designed to keep them safe in a world where feelings can be messy and risky. Now I want you to think about this with a Stoic mindset. Said, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. What he's telling you, and what you can remind yourself, is that vulnerability isn't a weakness. It's a choice about how you respond to your emotions and to what others express. When women hide their true feelings, it's not because they don't have them. It's because they're afraid of what those feelings might lead to, maybe rejection or disappointment. It's a defense mechanism, a way to keep control when things feel uncertain or out of reach. Here, where it gets interesting for you. What if you could lean into your own discomfort with vulnerability? What if, instead of pushing feelings away or pretending not to care, you chose to face them with calm and clarity? That's the Stoic way. It means practicing emotional resilience, building a habit of observing your feelings without getting overwhelmed by them. When you see someone acting distant, don't just write it off as not caring. Instead, recognize that they're probably trying to protect themselves from pain, just like you might do in your own moments of fear or uncertainty. So how do you start? First, become curious about your own reactions. Next time you feel the urge to shut down or brush off an uncomfortable feeling, pause, breathe deeply. Remind yourself of Epictetus's wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your feelings are real, but they don't have to control you. You can choose to face them, understand them, and grow stronger because of them. Try this simple exercise. When you notice yourself or someone else pulling away emotionally, ask internally, what is the fear here? What am I or they trying to protect? Don't rush to judgment. Instead, approach it with gentle curiosity. This mindset helps you build empathy, not just for others but for yourself. It opens the door to authentic connection because you're no longer hiding behind walls or pretending not to care. The truth is, pretending not to care is exhausting. It drains your energy and keeps you from experiencing genuine intimacy. When you start practicing vulnerability, little by little, you begin to weaken those walls, not by tearing them down violently, but by carefully choosing to lower your defenses. This doesn't mean throwing yourself into every emotional storm blindly. It means developing the strength to face discomfort with calm, to allow yourself to care deeply without fear of being crushed by it. Here's one more thing to remember. Vulnerability requires courage. As Seneca said, sometimes even to live is an act of courage. So take small steps each day. When you feel yourself wanting to hide your true feelings or act indifferent, pause and ask, what would courage look like right now? Maybe it's sharing a thought honestly. Maybe it's sitting with a feeling instead of pushing it away. Maybe it's simply acknowledging, I do care, I'm vulnerable, and that's okay. By embracing this approach, you're not just understanding why women, or anyone, might pretend not to care, you're transforming your own relationship with vulnerability. You become someone who doesn't fear emotions but respects and manages them wisely. And that truly is the power of the Stoic mindset in action. So start today. Observe, breathe, question, and choose courage. The path to authentic connection and emotional strength is right there, waiting for you to take it. Number 2, fear of rejection or disappointment. Fear of rejection or disappointment is one of those silent currents running beneath so many of the walls women build around their feelings. It's not about coldness or indifference. It's about protection, a shield crafted from the instinct to guard what's fragile inside. You see, when someone cares deeply, the stakes feel enormous. To care means to be vulnerable, and vulnerability can feel like standing on the edge of a cliff, unsure if the ground will hold. The fear of falling, of being rejected or let down, is powerful. It makes people pretend not to care at all. But here's the thing, you don't have to let that fear decide your story. Taught us, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. That means your reaction to rejection or disappointment isn't fixed. It's something you can train your mind to change. When you notice that flutter of anxiety, that voice whispering, "What if they don't care back?" Pause, breathe. Remind yourself that your worth isn't tethered to another's acceptance. This is the beginning of freedom. When you stop letting fear control how much you reveal, you start living with courage instead of caution. It's about changing the way you respond to potential rejection. Instead of retreating or pretending not to care, try shifting your mindset. Picture rejection as feedback, not a final verdict. It's information, a chance to understand more about yourself, others, and how to grow. The Stoics urge us to focus on what's within our control, and the only thing you truly control is your own reaction. So when the fear creeps in, practice leaning into it. Feel the discomfort, but don't let it silence you. Speak your truth, express your feelings, take that emotional risk. This is where real connection begins. Try this. When you catch yourself holding back because of fear, ask, what's the worst that could happen? Then, actively imagine yourself handling that worst-case scenario with calm and grace. You might find it's not as terrifying as you thought. The mind is powerful but also malleable. Training it to meet fear with curiosity instead of avoidance changes everything. Remember, caring deeply is not a weakness, it's a strength. And the courage to care, even when the outcome is uncertain, is what transforms relationships and builds trust. The next time you notice yourself or someone else pretending not to care, think about this fear quietly lurking underneath. Acknowledge it, face it, and use it as fuel to grow stronger inside. So don't let fear rob you of the chance to be authentic. Embrace the discomfort. Be brave enough to care openly, knowing that no matter the outcome, you are cultivating resilience and emotional wisdom. This is your path to a richer, fuller life, one where you no longer hide behind walls but instead walk forward with the steady confidence of a Stoic warrior. The choice is yours. Will you let fear dictate your actions, or will you meet it head-on and take your power back? Number 3, desire to maintain control over their feelings. When a woman pretends not to care, often what's really happening beneath the surface is a powerful desire to maintain control over her feelings. This isn't about playing games or being distant just for the sake of it. No, it's much deeper than that. It's about protecting herself from vulnerability, from the chaos that emotional exposure can sometimes bring. You see, emotions are like wild horses. They can carry us to places we don't want to go if we let them run unchecked. So when a woman holds back, it's her way of quietly reining in those horses, keeping her inner world calm and steady. This is something you can respect and even learn from. Imagine for a moment how freeing it would be to master your own emotional responses instead of being tossed around by every wave of feeling. The Stoics believed this deeply, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That strength comes from within, from the ability to observe your emotions without letting them control you. Women, like anyone else, instinctively crave this kind of mastery. When she seems like she doesn't care, she's often just practicing emotional self-discipline, trying to avoid the trap of losing herself in the intensity of her feelings. This desire to keep feelings in check is a survival skill as much as it is a choice. It's about maintaining dignity, not letting pain or disappointment dismantle her sense of self. And here's the thing, you can mirror this in your own life. Instead of rushing to fill emotional voids or reacting impulsively, learn to sit with your feelings, observe them, and hold space for them without letting them dictate your actions. This is not suppression, but wise control. You might find it challenging to hold back your own emotional responses at times, especially when you care deeply. But practicing this control, as Stoicism teaches, doesn't mean shutting down or becoming cold. It means engaging with life from a place of calm clarity. It means choosing your response instead of being dragged into reaction. You become the calm eye in the storm, and that's magnetic. Try this exercise. When you notice an intense emotion rising, whether it's frustration, excitement, or sadness, pause. Take a breath and ask yourself, is this feeling something I can control or change right now? Most times you'll realize that it's just a wave passing through. Watch it, acknowledge it, but don't let it sweep you away. This simple practice builds emotional resilience over time. So when you see a woman acting like she doesn't care, remember it might be less about her feelings and more about her guarding them fiercely. She's not distant because she's indifferent. She's distant because she's strong in a way that isn't loud or flashy. She's quietly mastering herself, and that's a lesson worth absorbing. Embrace this mindset. Work on your own emotional self-command. It will transform your relationships and your peace of mind. You don't have to pretend not to care, but you do need to care wisely. And that's where true strength, respect, and connection live. Number 4, testing emotional strength and patience. You know, when women pretend not to care, it's often not about pushing you away, but about quietly testing your emotional strength and patience. It's a subtle, almost silent challenge that invites you to show up, not just for her, but for yourself. Imagine this. Life is a constant flow of storms, moments when emotions swirl wildly and patience feels stretched thin. In those moments, a woman pulling back or acting indifferent is not a sign of disinterest, but a way of measuring how steady, how reliable, and how emotionally grounded you really are. She's looking to see if you can stay calm, composed, and present without the usual noise of panic or insecurity flooding in. Once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is exactly what you must embrace. Your strength isn't in grand gestures or loud proclamations, but in the quiet resilience to endure emotional tests with grace. So here's your call to action. Lean into discomfort instead of running from it. When she seems distant or like she's playing games, don't jump to conclusions or respond with frustration. Instead, pause, breathe, reflect on your own emotions without immediately reacting. This is your moment to practice the Stoic art of patience. It's about cultivating the ability to remain unmoved by the external waves and to respond from a place of steady inner calm. The real test is your ability to hold your ground without losing your mind. Think of patience not as waiting passively, but as an active stance, a daily workout for your emotional muscles. Practice slowing down your impulse to respond instantly. When you feel that urge to prove yourself, challenge that impulse. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn here? How can I be better, stronger, and more present? This simple shift rewires your brain and changes your dynamic entirely. You're no longer a reactive participant, but a deliberate force of calm and assurance. Remember, women aren't seeking perfection. They're seeking strength, not physical or loud strength, but the kind that emanates from emotional clarity and steadfastness. The kind of strength that reassures without words, that holds space without suffocating. It's a kind of confidence that doesn't seek to control, but to understand and endure. The Stoics teach us that emotions are fleeting clouds passing through the sky of the mind. If you learn to watch those clouds without chasing after them or trying to force them away, you become untouchable by turbulence. Try this practical exercise. When you sense her testing you, the quiet pullback or a seemingly indifferent tone, don't react immediately. Instead, silently remind yourself, this is a moment to practice patience and presence. Visualize yourself as a steady rock in a flowing river. The water might rush and swirl around you, but you don't move. You remain rooted. Then respond from that place of calm with kindness and consistency. Over time, this will not only build trust but also deepen attraction. This is your chance to transform how you engage with emotions and challenges in your relationship. Instead of fearing emotional tests, see them as opportunities to grow stronger, more patient, and more in control of your inner world. Remember Epictetus, wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So, harness this moment. Be the steady presence she's looking for, and watch how the dynamic between you shifts from doubt to trust, from testing to connection. Your patience and emotional strength aren't just traits, they are the foundation of a deeper, more meaningful bond. Step into that power. Number 5. Societal conditioning around expressing emotions. You've probably noticed how often women, and really people in general, hold back their true feelings, acting like they don't care when deep down, they actually do. One of the biggest reasons for this is societal conditioning around expressing emotions, that unspoken yet powerful set of rules telling us when and how it's acceptable to show what we really feel. This conditioning is like a silent script everyone learns growing up, shaping the way you and others respond emotionally. It can keep you locked in a cycle where vulnerability feels risky or even wrong, pushing you to hide your true emotions behind a mask of indifference. Think about it. From an early age, people around you may have praised you for being strong or stoic when you kept your feelings to yourself, while brushing off displays of emotion as too much or overreacting. This social programming teaches you to equate emotional restraint with strength. The Stoics understood this well. Once said, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. What he meant is that how you handle your emotions is within your control, but only if you first recognize what's influencing your reactions in the first place. So here's your first challenge. Become aware of the scripts you've absorbed about emotions. Notice when you hold back because you think it, expect it, or when you tell yourself you shouldn't care too much. This isn't about blaming anyone or feeling stuck. It's about reclaiming your emotional agency. You have the power to choose how you express yourself and what you allow to influence your inner world. You don't have to pretend indifference just to fit a mold. Now, to move beyond this conditioning, start small. Practice naming your emotions honestly, even if just to yourself. It can feel strange at first because it goes against years of habit, but as Epictetus advised, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. So, if you want to be someone who's genuine and open, you need to practice being that person in little ways. When you feel a twinge of irritation, sadness, or joy, acknowledge it quietly. Don't judge it, just observe. This builds emotional clarity and slowly breaks the hold of societal conditioning. Next, embrace moments of vulnerability when you feel safe. Share a thought or feeling with someone you trust, even if it's just a glimpse. Vulnerability is often misunderstood as weakness, but the Stoics saw it as strength, the courage to face yourself honestly. Each time you take this step, you weaken the invisible chains of societal expectation that tell you to pretend not to care. Finally, remember that caring deeply isn't a flaw, it's a profound strength. When women, or anyone, pretend not to care, it's often a shield, a defense mechanism shaped by those old conditioning patterns. But you don't have to live behind that shield. You can train your mind and heart to balance emotional honesty with stoic resilience. This balance will transform not just how you relate to others, but how you relate to yourself. You're not just learning to care more or less, you're learning to care wisely. So start today. Notice your emotional patterns, gently challenge the old rules, and step into the freedom that comes with embracing your true feelings without fear or shame. This is the essence of the Stoic mindset: mastery over your inner world, and in doing so, mastering your life. Thank you for watching and diving deep into why women sometimes pretend not to care when, in reality, they do. Remember, understanding this subtle dance isn't about guessing or controlling. It's about cultivating patience, empathy, and a stoic calm that strengthens every connection you have. If you found value in this video, don't just walk away. Take these insights and apply them. Watch your relationships transform as you approach them with clarity and emotional strength. And if you want more wisdom on mastering your mindset and navigating life with stoic confidence, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out. Your journey toward deeper understanding and emotional mastery is just beginning. Keep cultivating that inner calm and watch how everything around you shifts. Until next time, stay grounded, stay strong, and remember, true strength often lies beneath the surface. He who enjars you conquers you. Epictetus. What if I told you that many women deeply regret losing men who embody this ancient Stoic wisdom? Men who remain calm, grounded, and unshaken, no matter the storm. Yet, this regret is rarely spoken out loud. Why? Because society often overlooks the quiet strength of Stoic men, those who master their emotions and lead with reason rather than reaction. In this video, we dive into the hidden truths behind why women miss these men so profoundly, even if they don't admit it. You'll discover the subtle power of Stoicism in relationships, the magnetic calm, the emotional resilience, and the unwavering integrity that many take for granted until it's gone. Stick around till the very end, because understanding these truths won't just change how you see relationships. It could transform how you build and sustain them. Whether you're a man striving to embrace Stoic principles or simply curious about the psychology behind connection and regret, this video is packed with insights you won't want to miss. Ready to uncover the truth they'll never say out loud? Let's get started. Number 1. Emotional stability and calmness they bring. There's something profoundly magnetic about a man who carries emotional stability and calmness like a quiet shield. It's not flashy, it's not loud, but it's powerful beyond measure. Women, often without saying it aloud, deeply regret losing a man who embodies this. Someone who doesn't get swept away by the storm but stands steady in the eye of it. You see, emotional stability isn't just about avoiding drama. It's about creating a space where both people feel safe, understood, and unshaken. When you learn to master your inner world, the chaos outside loses its grip on you. Said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That strength becomes your foundation, the calm in the chaos others crave. Now, imagine what it feels like to be with someone who doesn't crumble or overreact when things get tough. You become the anchor, the one who listens without judgment, who responds instead of reacts. This calmness draws people in because it promises something rare, a steady presence in a world that often feels unpredictable and overwhelming. Women sense this deeply. It's not about being emotionally distant or cold. It's about being emotionally strong and accessible at the same time. You show that you can hold your emotions with grace, and that creates a magnetic aura of trust and safety. But here's the catch. Emotional stability doesn't happen by accident. It's a habit, a practice, a daily choice to respond with reason instead of emotion. You have to train yourself to pause before reacting, to breathe through frustration or anxiety, to remind yourself that you are in control of how you feel, not controlled by outside circumstances. Start by simply observing your emotional patterns. When tension arises, instead of immediately diving into the heat of the moment, take a step back. Ask yourself, what is really going on here? What is within my control? Then respond from that space of clarity. This small shift, practiced again and again, builds a fortress of calmness that others can lean on. There's power in this kind of emotional mastery. It's magnetic because it's rare and real. People don't just want excitement or drama. They want peace, a place to rest their souls. When you cultivate this calm, you're not just improving your relationships, you're transforming your whole life. You start to see setbacks as opportunities to practice patience, frustrations as moments to cultivate resilience. This mindset, deeply rooted in Stoic wisdom, allows you to navigate life with a quiet confidence that others can't help but respect and admire. To make this a part of your life, begin a simple exercise. At the end of each day, reflect on moments when you felt emotionally triggered. How did you respond? Could you have chosen calm over reaction? Write down one way you can improve tomorrow. Commit to practicing this daily. Like any skill, emotional stability grows stronger with repetition. Over time, you'll notice a shift, not just inside you, but in how others respond to your presence. Remember what Seneca taught: no man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity. The Stoic path isn't about avoiding emotions, it's about mastering them. When you step into this mastery, you become the kind of man women regret losing, not because you're perfect, but because your calm and steady heart is a rare treasure in an unpredictable world. So choose today to build that inner fortress. Embrace emotional stability not as a limitation, but as your greatest strength. You'll find that in doing so, you don't just change your own life, you become unforgettable to those who truly matter. Number 2, their unwavering self-control and discipline. There's something quietly magnetic about a man who masters himself, a man who doesn't let emotions, impulses, or chaos dictate his actions. Women often regret losing men like this because, deep down, they sense what real strength looks like. It's not loud or flashy. It's steady, unwavering self-control and discipline. This isn't about suppressing feelings or acting cold. It's about mastering your inner world so you don't lose yourself in the storms around you. Imagine standing calm while everything else swirls wildly. That's power. Said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. When you embody this, you're not just surviving life's challenges, you're thriving through them, and that kind of presence is unforgettable. You see, self-control and discipline are the silent architects of your character. They shape the way you respond when faced with frustration, disappointment, or temptation. They keep you grounded when emotions threaten to pull you off balance. Women who lose men like this often regret it because they miss the sense of safety and reliability that comes with knowing someone won't be swayed by every little upheaval. You're the man who doesn't react impulsively, who thinks before speaking, who stays steady when others lose their cool. That steadiness breeds trust, and once that trust is gone, it's incredibly hard to replace. But here's the thing: self-control and discipline aren't traits you either have or don't. They're habits you build, choices you make, moments you own. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be consistent. Start by taking ownership of your daily routine. Small actions, waking up on time, choosing your words carefully, controlling your breath when tension rises. These are the bricks you lay to build that fortress of discipline. Epictetus taught that no man is free who is not master of himself. That mastery is yours to claim. Try this when you feel a strong emotional impulse, anger, anxiety, frustration. Don't act on it immediately. Pause, take a breath. Remind yourself that your reaction shapes your reality, not the external trigger. Practice this pause like a muscle and watch how your power grows. It's in these small victories that you build an unshakable foundation. Discipline also means setting boundaries for yourself. It's about knowing what you will accept in your life and relationships, and what you won't. This clarity protects your energy and preserves your integrity. When you live by your values and don't bend under pressure, you become someone who commands respect effortlessly. Women sense this deeply, even if they never say it out loud. Remember, the Stoics didn't chase control over the world, they chased control over themselves. You're invited to do the same. Cultivate that quiet strength. Practice patience with yourself as you grow, because when you master yourself, you not only become magnetic, you become irreplaceable. And that's why women regret losing Stoic men. They lose the anchor in a sea of uncertainty. So start today. Own your power through discipline and self-control. Become the man who stands firm no matter what. That's the truth they won't say, but they'll always feel. Number 3, ability to handle challenges without drama. When a man can handle challenges without drama, he becomes unforgettable. That calm, centered energy sticks in people's minds, especially women's. Because in a world full of emotional chaos, a man who stays grounded becomes the rare anchor others crave. Stoic men don't need to prove their strength by reacting. They prove it by staying composed when things get messy. As said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That's the essence of handling life's storms like a Stoic, not avoiding emotion, but mastering it. When you learn to approach difficulties without drama, something inside you shifts. You stop letting temporary chaos dictate your peace. You start realizing that you can't always control what happens, but you can always control your attitude. That's the quiet confidence women feel drawn to, even if they can't explain it. It's not arrogance, it's stability. It's the rare signal that says, you're safe, you're present, and you won't be swept away by emotion or pressure. That composure communicates dominance without aggression, maturity without stiffness. It tells the world you've built inner order in a world addicted to noise. Here's the truth. Most people overreact because they're trying to escape discomfort. Stoicism trains you to face it directly. Next time you feel irritation or frustration rising, pause, breathe. Observe the feeling without letting it take control. Ask yourself, what's within my power right now? That small question shifts your focus inward where true control lives. And each time you do this, you strengthen your emotional discipline, your ability to remain calm while others spiral. Practice this daily. When something minor goes wrong, treat it as training. Imagine Epictetus whispering, "It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them." Every challenge is a chance to practice stillness, to sharpen your mental endurance. Eventually, you'll find that your reactions become quieter, your movements slower, your words more deliberate. You won't need to assert control, you'll embody it. And that's exactly why women regret losing Stoic men. Because that calm presence isn't easy to find again. It's rare to meet someone who doesn't feed on drama, who brings peace instead of pressure. Your steadiness becomes magnetic. Your silence becomes authority. Your control becomes comfort. So, commit to mastering this skill, not for anyone else, but because the man who conquers his reactions holds the keys to his own freedom. Be that man. Let storms come and go while you remain unshaken. That's real power. Number 4, deep sense of integrity and authenticity. A Stoic man carries a kind of quiet strength that can't be faked. His integrity runs deep. It's not about appearing good, it's about being good, even when no one's watching. You feel it in the way he stands by his word, how his actions align with his values, and how he never bends his principles just to please or impress anyone. That's authenticity in its form. It's rare, and it's exactly why women often realize too late what they lost. They remember that calm certainty, that solid presence that came from a man who knew who he was. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one, wrote. That's the Stoic blueprint. Live with integrity so real that you don't have to announce it. But integrity isn't built in a day. It's crafted in the small choices you make. When you tell the truth even though it's uncomfortable, when you refuse to betray your values for quick gratification, when you act in alignment with your higher self rather than your impulses. That's authenticity. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. And when you live that way, you radiate something few people can ignore, a quiet confidence that demands respect, not through dominance but through depth. You have to understand that the world rewards imitation, but it secretly admires those who remain unshaken by it. The Stoics lived by this principle because they knew that the man who is real, who stands firm in truth, becomes untouchable. He's not swayed by flattery or criticism. His worth doesn't fluctuate based on who validates him. That's what makes him powerful, and that's what makes his absence echo long after he's gone. When a woman loses that, she doesn't just lose a man. She loses an anchor of stability, a mirror of integrity she may not find again. To embody this, start by stripping away what's false. Notice when your words don't match your actions. Observe when you adjust yourself just to gain approval. Then practice silence before reaction. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. That's your daily challenge. Decide what kind of man you want to be, then prove it through your choices. Write down your core principles, 3 or 4 non-negotiables that define your character, and hold yourself accountable to them every single day. This is your internal compass, and every decision you make should point toward it. Authenticity also means being honest with yourself. Don't pretend to be unfazed when you're hurt. Don't project strength by ignoring what you feel. Real stoicism isn't emotional suppression. It's understanding your emotions without being ruled by them. When you live that truth, your presence becomes magnetic because it's real. You no longer need validation. Your peace validates itself. And when people feel that energy, they remember it because it's different, it's grounded, it's rare. So make integrity your foundation and authenticity your expression. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth, just live it. Speak less, mean more. Do what's right, even when it costs you comfort. Stay loyal to your truth. Because one day, when others look back, they'll realize that your steadiness wasn't just attractive, it was unforgettable. And that's what makes a stoic man impossible to replace. Number 5, the rare quality of silent strength and reliability. If you found this truth eye-opening, remember, stoic men carry a strength that many fail to appreciate until they're gone. The regret is real, but the lesson is even greater. So, whether you're reflecting on a past relationship or seeking to understand the men in your life better, never underestimate the quiet power of stoicism. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into relationships and human nature. And drop a comment below. What's your take on stoic men? Have you seen this regret firsthand? Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious and keep uncovering the truths that others won't say out loud.